As Hashem, today's daf is Masechta Gittin Daf Lamed Hey. We are beginning from Daf Lamed Daled Amud Beis by the Mishnah. Very interesting Mishnah and Gemara that we'll be learning today. Practical. The Mishnah discusses like this: a woman that became an almana, ein almana nifras minichse yisomim ela b'shvua. A widow an almana cannot be paid her ksuba from the possessions of the Yisomim, only if she swears. That means we are concerned that perhaps she scarfed some money early on in her marriage for her ksuba. Let's say the husband, he said, this cufflinks, you can use it to collecting your ksuba when it comes time to it. So in order for her to collect her ksuba, she has to make a shvua. She has to swear to God, basically, in front of the Yisomim, in front of her children, and basically say, I swear that I never was paid my ksuba in all my years of marriage. I never collected my ksuba. So the Mishnah says she can only do that. She can only start collecting her ksuba from the estate only if she swore that she did not collect anything when he was alive. The problem is sometimes she doesn't remember. Maybe she took something, or she took something and she didn't claim it as her ksuba, or she doesn't remember. So nimnu u'melahashbia, they stopped giving her a shvua. They didn't let a widow collect her. They didn't let her collect from the assignment. Hi. Mit jetzt ungeheben. Jetzt ungeheben the Mishnah. So again, nimnu they stop. Jetzt ungeheben. Daf lamed daled amud beis. So the Mishnah says, "Ein almana nifras minichse el shvua." When almana comes to collect her ksuba, she has to swear that she didn't take anything beforehand. Nimnu melashbia. So the bezdin's people stopped making her swear. Because if she takes a shavua, she may be over that shavua. She may make a mistake, and then there's bad things that can happen if someone swears falsely. So Hiskin Rabbi Gamliel, Rabbi Gamliel made a new rule. Hiskin Rabbi Gamliel zakin shetehei noideres layasoimim kol masha yirtza begoyvek subasa. She should say to the yasoimim, I take a promise that I will never eat, let's say, any cake in the world if I collected my ksuba. And then she could collect her ksuba. Because by taking an adorim, it's like slightly under a shvua. So if she violates the neder, her punishment is not as severe as if it was if she had to take a shavua. So that's why the new rule is an almana, when she comes to collect her ksuba, she takes a neder, but not a shvua. Ha'edim, that was one rule, Rabbi Gamliel Azakin. We're going to discuss that today. Ha'edim choisman al haget. Edim sign on a get, mipnei tikkun oilam. Edim sign on a get, and they don't rely on, let's say, edim asira. We'll see what that is all about. We want edim to sign on the get because to make the world a better place. That's tikkun oilam. The Hillel Hiskim Pruzbal. Hillel established the Pruzbal. As you know, the capital markets were shut down because everybody knew that when comes Shemitah, when you lend somebody money, the debts were all canceled automatically from the Torah. So Hillel established a Pruzbal, which thereby worked a way around that even with Shemitah, the debt won't be canceled. It may take on oilam because that makes the world a better place. Now people are more inclined to lend other people money, knowing that the Shemitah will not cancel their loan. And we're going to discuss that in the Gemara. So the Gemara said, the Mishnah said, an almana would not be able to collect from the possessions of a Yisayma, from the orphans, unless she makes a shavua. She swears she didn't collect anything, and that she still owed the ksuba. So the Gemara asks the question, my iri almana, why do you point out that only almana has to swear when they're collecting from the Yisayim? Afilu kuli almanami. Anybody who has an outstanding debt instrument against the Yisayim's father, If they want to collect on that, they would have to swear. They would have to swear that your father borrowed money, and now we're up to, and we didn't collect on our debt. So please give us from his estate. The Kaimelon, we have a auto rule. If someone wants to get paid back from the possessions of the assignment, he can't be paid back unless he takes them out a shavua. So why does the Mishnah point out that only the almana swears to collect from the nichse assignment, and not any outstanding, any bal chayv, if he wants to collect from the possessions of the assignment, he would also have to swear. So what's the point of the Mishnah? The Gemara says almana itztruchele. The Mishnah has to point out that almana also has to swear, because salka daite chamina, I would have thought that an almana should not swear. Why? We go to top of Lamed Hey Am Aleph, v'shemchina, because women will be reluctant to marry men. Because if they know that when they're going to have to collect their ksuba in case their husband dies, they're going to have to take a shavua, they're going to refuse to get married. What do I need all this? I don't want to get involved in shavua. I'm a frum girl from a nice seminary. So therefore, I would have thought Akilu Rabbanan Gaba. The Rabbanan went light on her and saying she doesn't have to make a shavua when she comes to collect from the assignment. Hashmalam, that is the novelty of our Mishnah. Our Mishnah teaches us when a woman whose husband just died and she wants to collect her ksuba in the beginning, she would be required to swear to the Yesayimim, if she wants to collect from the estate, that she never received any payment for her ksuba. But then, as time went on, nimnu umlashbia, the Bezdin stopped making these shavuos, forcing her to swear. In other words, she was left in limbo. She was not able to collect on a ksuba because Bezdin didn't want her to swear. So the Gemara says, "My tama, why would Bezdin not want to swear, make her swear?" So the Gemara says like this: "Ilay, would you say Mishum de Rav Kahana?" Because of the story of Rav Kahana. Rav Kahana said, "V'Amrillah," and others said, "Rav Yehuda Rav." Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav. Listen to this story, and this is why we don't like women swearing, because Ma'aseh ba'adam echad, there was this man. He b'shnei b'tzayros. It was during hunger years, and he had a bunch of gold coins. Shehifkid, he deposited dinay zahav eitzel amana. She deposited a bunch of gold coins to a widow. V'hinachtoy b'kad shel kemer, and she put it into her jar that had flour. That's where she stuffed the coins to hide it. V'afatay b'pas, and she baked it into her bread. Unusanatu la'ani, and sanatu la'ani, she gave the bread to a poor person. Guess what happened? Yamin Baal Hadina, the owner of the coins, came. V'amalan said to her, "Havli dinari, give me my coins." So she couldn't find it, and she thought that the guy's accusing her for taking it for herself, taking the gold coins for herself. Amra, she said the following statement: let one of my sons, she was referring to herself, that woman, one of my sons should die from arsenic or poison. If I ever benefited from your coins at all. She was so confident that she didn't benefit from the guy's gold coins that she was ready to give up to death one of her kids. Amru, so she made a shvua like that. Amru, they told over the end of the story, there wasn't more little days that passed when she made that shvua, one of her kids died. When Chachamim heard that story of this woman making a shvua and declaring upon herself that she's so confident she's saying the truth that one of her sons should die, and actually one of her sons died. Amru, they said, Ma mi shenishba be'emes. If someone who tries to swear falsely, with truthfully, and she did, and she got the punishment that one of her children died, a person that swears falsely, al achas kama v'kama, certainly something bad can happen. So we're going to explain how this relates to ksuba. So the Gemara wants to just understand that story. Ma tama I ansha. Why did she get punished? She didn't benefit from those coins. She just gave it to a poor person, but it got baked into a cake. Answers the Gemara, the shtar shalom mokam dina, the place where the coins took the space where the coins took in that bread, she didn't have to take flour and have cake there or bread there. It just took up space there. So the bread was less of a bread. So she did benefit because the coins took up the space where the bread would normally be. And therefore, this poor person was relying on her, and she's committed herself to give a loaf of bread, and now she gets away with making a tinier, smaller loaf of bread. So then the question is, then she did benefit. My Mishanish Be'emes. Why did Chachamim call her as somebody who swore with truth? She swore falsely, that she claimed she didn't benefit from it, and she actually did. Answers the Gemara, Kamishanish Be'emes. We mean that it's as if she did swear truthfully. She thinks she swore truthfully, but she swore falsely. So the Gemara asks a question: if you're always afraid that women taking shvuas is a bad thing, my irya almana. Why did they stop almanas from collecting ksuba? Because they didn't want an almana to swear. Afila grusha name. Even if a woman gets divorced and she wants to collect her ksuba, we should make her not, and she's collecting her ksuba from the assignment. Let's say the husband died after divorcing her. She should also not be required, or we should stop her from swearing. Alama Amar Rabbi Zera Amar Shmuel. Why did Rabbi Zera say in the name of Shmuel? Lo Yishanu. Our Mishnah only said that they stopped Ela Almana, only an Almana. They didn't want Almanas taking Shavuos. Of a grusha, but a grusha, they didn't have a problem with her taking a Shavuot. Oh. Yeah, of a grusha, they didn't have a problem with her taking a Shavuot. Why was it only said by the grusha mashbianaisa? Answers the Gemara, Almana Sha'ani. The Almana is a little different. Why? Now this is here. Here's the psyche. The Bahi Hanoa, the Kotarcha Kamedi Yasmi, because she feels that she's helping raise these Yisonim, so she's supposed to get extra benefit. Osya Lairuya Hetera. She's going to come to give herself permission to take something extra for her ksuba. So really, she took something for her ksuba. She's going to swear she didn't take anything for her ksuba, and she's going to say, what I took, it's extra payment because I'm helping raise the children. So such a person is more inclined, and almana is more inclined to swear falsely, thinking that she's swearing in truth. And because of that, they stopped this whole business of shvua, and they said, you know what, we'd rather have the almana that wants to collect the ksuba make a neder. Don't make a shvua, because a neder is a lighter sin than if you violate a shvua. And they only said that by almana, by a divorced woman. We have no reason to believe that she would swear any falsely, so we leave it intact that a gerusha that wants to collect her money, she would have to take an oath and swear. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Rav Yirmiyah Ba'ama, Rav Shmuel da Amri Tavaya. Rav Yirmiyah Ba'aba said that Rav and Shmuel both said, Lo Shanu El Bezdin. When did we stop the women, the almana, from taking shvuah? Is only with Bezdin. Because when you take a shvuah in Bezdin, you actually have to hold a Sefer Torah. Rashi explains you have to hold a Sefer Torah or a tefillin, and there's a big sin. Basically, you're taking upon yourself a curse. But if you're outside of Bezdin, it's a shvuah strabanan. It's only a little curse, but it's not as severe. So the Rabbi Yehuda Marav says Lo shanu el bezdin. We stopped women from the almanas from taking shvuah only if they're swearing in Bezdin. Al chutz lebezdin mashbiya noisa. But outside of Bezdin, we would ask her if she wants, she can take a shvuah. So she doesn't take a neder. If it's outside of Bezdin, she could take a shvuah. So the Gemara says, Eini, isn't that not so? But Rav loyd magbik ksuva la malta. Rav would not collect a ksuba for an almana. It seems to imply that even if she swore outside of Bezdin. But didn't Rav and Shmuel didn't you just say that Rav Shmuel says, and both agree that outside Bezdin, you could be mashbi and oisa? So kasha, that story is very difficult to understand. Besura Masnehachi, that was the story that was taught in Surah, and that's the way the teaching was taught in Surah. Ben Hadori Masnehachi. In Adoi, this is how they learned the Gemara. This is how they learned the teaching. Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel. Only Shmuel is of this opinion. Outside of Bezdin, you would ask her to take out Shvuah. That was only Shmuel's opinion. But Rav Amar, and here's the Chiddush. Outside of Bezdin, we wouldn't even allow her to take her Shvuah. So Rav says there's no Shvuah allowed for an almana. Rav l'tamei, and Rav is aligned with his reasoning. Rav loy magbik ksuba lamalta. Rav would not allow a ksuba to be collected for an almana if she had to swear. Okay, so then why didn't Rav bili adra ligbei? Then why didn't Rav make almanas take nedarim, like it says in our Mishnah? If you don't want to swear, the almanas, Rabbi Gamaliel said, they should take a neder. Answers the Gemara, b'shnei de Rav kili nidre. In the years of Rav, nedarim were taken lightly. So there's a fascinating thing. If an almana lived in the time of Rav, and she just lost her husband, and she wants to collect her ksuba, well, Rav would not allow an almana to collect her ksuba. Bingo. Why? She can't swear, and we don't allow her to take nedarim either. It's a fascinating time period. No ksubas for an almana, only for a grusha. And the Gemara says two stories. Ahid asai lekamed Rav Huna. There was one person that came, a woman that came to Rav Huna. Amala. So the Rav Huna told the lady, Ma ividlach. What can I do? You want to collect your ksuba? The Rav loy magbik ksuba la malta. Rav would not allow an almana to collect her ksuba. Amra lei. So she answered back, Midi hu taima ela dilma daktina midi ksubase. What are you afraid of? Why don't you want me to swear? Because you're afraid that I already took a little bit for my ksuba, right? And therefore, I'm not going to swear truthfully. So she jumped ahead of the game and says, I'm going to swear anyway. Tai Hashem tzavakais, to swear in the name of God. Im nenesim ksubase klum. If I ever had benefit from my ksuba, not one thing, not one dime. Oh, she already took the shvuah. Rav Huda, moide Rabbi kaifetzes. Rav would agree that if she jumped and took the shvuah, yes, we'll let her collect her ksuba. But if she's asking us to take a shvuah, we will not allow her to take a shvuah, and we will not allow her to even make a neder. And now the Gemara says another practical story. Ahid asai lekamid Rabba Bar Huna. There was this almana who came to Rabba Bar Huna. What does she want to do? She wants to collect her ksuba. He said to her, my lady, my ivadlach, what can I do for you? You can't collect your ksuba. The Rav loy magbi ksuba la malta. Rav would not allow an almana to collect her ksuba. The Abba Mori loy magbi ksuba la malta. And even Abba Mori also would not allow an almana to collect her ksuba. And not with a neder, not with a shvuah, certainly not. In Bezdin, outside of Bezdin, no ksuba for an almana. Amalek, so she said, okay, Havli Mizayna, then continue, support me with food. Because as long as she doesn't get her ksuba, the halacha is that almana can benefit with food. They're supposed to support her food provisions from the estate. Amala, so she said to Rav Huna, Rabba Bar Rav Huna, Rabba Bar Huna said to her, you don't even get mezainis anymore. Why not? She can't get food. A woman who starts the process of trying to collect her ksuba, the bezdin, ein lo mazoinus, she doesn't get mazoinus anymore. She cannot take support anymore. Why? That's it says that in the ksuba, because it says kol yemei meger almunaseich bebesi. As long as you want to remain almana in my house, then the ksuba says you will get mezainis. But she indicated already that she wants to leave this house. Once she indicated, she forfeited her rights to get mezainis. So this woman is going to starve. She can't collect the ksuba, and she can't collect she can't continue to now benefit them paying her food bills. So Amr Lay, so she said to she's an almana. She got to be careful. She said to Rabba Bar Rav Huna, Abchu l'kursai. turn your chair over to betray avdali. You're giving me the two bad things. You tell me I can't collect my ksuba and I can't collect food support. Well, I want your chair to turn over. So basically, she sort of hinted to a curse for Rabba Rav Huna. You're never supposed to take somebody's curse lightly, especially she's an almana. So she said the chairs should turn over means something tragic should happen to you, Rabba Rav Huna. So they quickly turned over the chairs to appease her, to say, we're yoitze her curse by physically turning over our chairs, even though we understand she meant worse than that. Even though they tried to act out the curse, they didn't save themselves from getting sick. So Rabba Barav Huna actually got sick because of this curse from this woman, this almana, who Rabba Barav Huna paskin, she can't collect suba and she can't collect mezainis. You have to be careful with the words that come out of almana. And it goes the other way also. If the almana will bless somebody, it also has a unique power to it. Amalei Rav Huda Rav Yirmiyah Bira. Adra bebezdin v'ashba chutz lebezdin. Rav Yehuda said to Rav Yirmiyah Bira that, look, suba, I don't hold of Rav. Either you're going to make this lady almana make a neder in bezdin, like our Mishnah says, or v'ashba chutz lebezdin, or make her swear outside of bezdin. That's also good, and she could collect her ksuba. So Rav Yehuda said to Rav Yirmiyah, I don't even hold of Rav. Don't mention that. V'leisa kala, I want you to spread the news. V'lipol ba'udnei, let it come to my ears, the report, that people should follow through, that almana should be able to collect her ksuba. Again, it was just that Rav's opinion was very strict with an almana collecting her ksuba, but the Gemara wanted to say that the halacha would not follow Rav. Gufa, we learned. Amar Rab Zera Amar Shmuel. Lo yishanu almana was not taught only on almana. Ava grusha, but a divorcee, mashbi noisa, we make her swear. O grusha da adra loy. We don't make a grusha take a neder. We only right away jump to her making a shvuah. They send from Eretz Yisrael of the following news report. Eich Plenisa bar Plenisa, this lady, she accepted the get. Min yada the Acha bar Hidya the Miskari Ayamori. She got a get from this Acha bar Hidya, who has another name called Ayamori. So she's the divorced lady. Unadaris, she made a neder. And she asked all the parents in the world on her, the loiki balti miksuba, that she really did not get anything from a ksuba. She didn't collect anything. Ella glufkara, like a pillow. Echad, one pillow. The Sefer Tehillim, she got a book of Tehillim. That was part of the payment of ksuba. Books were very precious at that time. The Sefer Ear, she got the Sefer Ears. Umem shalosh beluim, and Sefer Mishli was a little bit worn out. That was her ksuba, and she's demanding more. And she took a neder. So we see that even Grushas took a neder. We go to Amid Beis, Lamahei Amid Beis. They estimated there was 5 mana, and therefore she collects the balance. The Kishavi Yadchem, they sent the message when she comes to Babel, Hadvua shall give her the rest. In other words, that we accepted her neder, and therefore the part that she didn't collect from a ksuba, you should work that she gets paid. So we see that even a grusha took a neder. So why was she a grusha? She took a neder. Answers the Gemara, Amarav Ashe Ahu Gitti Yavam and Hava. She was a Yavama who fell to Yibam. And though she got married to her Yavam, right, and there was a regular marriage, she got divorced. But really, her ksuba is collected on her first husband's property, estate. Her first husband died, and she fell to Yibam to her brother. And they got married, but now she got divorced from the brother. Because she's collecting from the estate of the first husband, so we view her as an almana, not as a grusha, even though she technically got divorced in the second marriage, but the collection of the ksuba is going on her first marriage, and in that case, she was an almana. Hiskin Rav Gamliel Zokin Shtei Nederes. So the Gemara says like this: Amar Rav Huna. We're going to another 3 minutes. Amar Rav Huna said, Lo shanu ela b'shalei nisis. The fact that she can take a neder and collect her ksuba is if she didn't get married for the second time. That means she lost her husband, and then she didn't get married. If she takes a neder, she can collect her ksuba. Avanisis, but she got married for the second time. Even neder would not work. So why not? Nisa's my Tom. If she got married, and now she wants to collect the ksuba from her first husband, why can't she collect it? Because even if she takes a neder, the mefer lo baal, her second husband could mefer, could nullify that neder. And therefore, the neder is not going to be effective. So it's not really she's promising anything. So the Gemara says, Ki loy nesis name l'chimansa v'mefer labal. Even prior to her getting married, even if she takes a neder, well, she's eventually going to get married the second time, and the husband is going to nullify that neder when he finally gets married to her. So how do we even say that even when she's not yet married, we allow her to take a neder? That neder is not going to last, because when she gets married, she's going to ask her second husband, please be made for the neder that I made prior to I got married to you. So the answer is, Ein abal mefer b'koidmin. A husband cannot nullify nedarim that were prior in existence before the marriage, that pre-existed the marriage. And therefore, the second husband will not be able to make for the neder that she made in order to collect her ksuba. So the Gemara says, v'nechesh, but still, you could always undo any neder. Maybe she'll go to a chacham and he'll untie him and say, "Oh, the neder is not. You don't have a neder anymore." Answers the Gemara, Kasavar, our Mishnah holds sorech lefaret neder. She's going to have to express the neder, and which chacham, if she's going to have to say, "I took a neder to collect my ksuba," no chacham is going to untie that neder and release her of that vow, because they know that neder is very important. So there's no chance that she can release herself from that neder. So the neder is a good thing, and she could collect as long as she was not married. But once she's married, any neder she made, she doesn't even have to go to the chacham. Her new husband can make for it to nullify the neder. So it's valueless. So therefore, once she's married, she cannot collect her ksuba, and we don't make her take a neder. It won't be effective, a neder. And finally, Rav Nachman says that even if she does get married for the second time, she could still collect her ksuba by taking a neder from her first husband, by taking a neder that she never collected her ksuba from the first husband. So the Gemara says, Nisa vade me for labal. If she got married, the second husband could nullify her neder, and therefore, so what's the point of her taking a neder? How is it going to validate anything? Answers the Gemara, the mandrin lo barabim. They make her take the neder in public. Well, if you take the neder in public, a husband cannot make for the neder if she took it in public. And therefore, she makes a neder in public, and that in the neder says that everything, all fruits of food should be also to me if I ever collected for my first husband's ksuba. And there, that take a public neder cannot be undone by the husband. One last question. Meisvei, the Gemara says, a question. Nises, goivek ksubasa nadra. Here, if she gets married, we said she could collect the ksuba if she makes a neder. My love, nadra hashtra. So this is, the Brises is clearly not like Rav Huna, who says when she get married, you don't make a neder, it's not going to help. And this Brises says that she does get, if she got married, she could make a neder. Answers the Gemara loy. That Brises means the nadra mi'i kara. She made the neder prior to her getting married. So then she could collect the ksuba. Says the Gemara Vatanya, here's a clear brisa, not like Rav Huna. Nisis, if a woman got married and she wants to collect the ksuba from her first husband, she makes the neder right now, so she could collect her ksuba. So how could Rav Huna say that nedarim will not work? That we don't say she makes a neder? Answers the Gemara Tanoihi. It's really a machlekes Tanoim, and Rav Huna will go like the Tana, like a Tana that says she would not make a neder. The Ikalam Diyama, there's an opinion, neder shuda barabim. She makes a public neder, so because that's what she's going to eventually do. Yesh lahafara. Her husband could be made for that neder. So there's no way that we will allow her to take a neder, because she's going to make a neder after she got married. The husband will undo it, even if she made the neder in public. Therefore, that's what Rav Huna will hold, that that neder is not going to help. And therefore, Rav Huna says if she gets married, she would not collect the ksuba. Others hold ein le'afara. If a woman makes a neder in public, the husband cannot be made for that neder, and because of that, it would help if she would make a neder even in public, and even after she got married, her husband will never be able to make for that neder, and therefore she has a powerful neder that will allow her to collect the ksuba from her previous marriage from the first husband that died. Okay, we will continue with Ibaya Lahu on Daf Lamehei on the base tomorrow, Bez Hashem.
Thank you.
I have